Paksha. Pitru Paksha is a fortnight or 14 days that is dedicated to your Pitris or your ancestors. It's the time where Indians pay homage or pay their respects to those that have passed away. Pitru Paksha started today. It's the first day or the first tithi after the full moon in the waning cycle. So it's the Krishna Paksh, it's Pratipad in the Krishna Paksh, and is observed till the next new moon, the next Amavasya, which is called Mahalaya Amavasya. During this period, Pinda Daan is done. Pinda Daan literally is offering of rice balls. These rice balls are called Pinda. These are round rice balls that are handmade and with some sesame seeds. And the rice balls, the sesame seeds, the peel and water are offered to the Pitris or those who passed away. I've often spoken about the importance of performing Shradha. This whole process is called Shradha. With Shradha, right? Shradha is performed with Shradha, which is utmost dedication and sincerity. There's not an English translation of that word, Shradha. And it's considered so important that it's considered as one of the highest punya or highest dharmic acts you can perform in an incarnated body. So growing up, when I would hear the adults in our family talk about Shraddha, I would think it was done to appease those who passed away, because those who passed away had some residual attachments or residual karmas attached to the body that existed. And, there were members in our extended family that had Pitru dosha, and I don't really, when I do readings, I do not call it out directly because there are various formations in the chart, in the natal chart, in the horoscope that can indicate Pitru dosha, and it's not all, good or bad, gloom or doom, black or white. It's harder to read Pitru dosha, and there are some combinations with the sun, the nodes Rahu Ketu associated with the sun that form Pitru dosha in a chart. Of course, through my experience, I think we also misinterpret Pitru dosha a lot, so I do not specifically call it out. Yet I would make the person or the native understand the importance of remembering their ancestors, right? So it was not until my father transitioned and I started to ask a lot of questions, innocent, curious questions to the priests who would come home and perform these ceremonies. We would have these, when he passed away, we did the whole 12-day ceremony where every day my brother performed Pindadan to help the soul transition into the next realm. At that point, I started wondering what happened to my dad. Where did he go? I can still feel his presence. It's not possible that he was here one day and he just disappeared. And I started reading a lot about near-death experiences. I went through like this rabbit hole of, blogs after blogs of reading near-death experiences. One of the most profound books of our times is Dying to Be Me, written by Anita Moorjani. And that book is written in such a simple language that anybody can understand what happens when this body drops, when this physical body drops, right? And if you have read about near-death experiences enough, you would understand that those that have passed away already know about the illusion of birth and death. they in fact can connect to you with utmost love, irrespective of how your relationship with them was on this planet. They understand that, there were groups of souls that got incarnated together. Probably that's why they incarnated in the same lineage, because they wanted to help each other. They wanted to help the other work through their karmas. And so when you read Dying to Be Me, you realize, and when you read all these near-death experiences in the blogs, you realize that when you transition to, when you die, the souls that have transitioned come and help you move to the next stage in your journey. This whole life on earth is probably a blink, right? And the nature of consciousness is much more vast that we can't even comprehend. Our brains cannot comprehend it yet. Maybe one day. So if those that have deceased and those that have passed away already have the glimpse of the truth and already are appeased, then why are we doing this Pindadan? Who are we appeasing? Also, I was questioning that not all Indians perform Shradha, not all Indians do Pindadan, and Indians form a small percentage of the global population. And around the globe, there is not a tradition of doing yearly Shradha on the same tithi as the person who passed away. Yes, there are funeral rites, but there is, people don't usually perform Shraddha in a very specific way like the Indians do. So what happens to these souls? Is their transition not smooth? Don't they reincarnate back? Can't they work through their karmas? What happens to these souls? And I started to realize that the pind, the rice ball we make, is actually a physical body that we offer to those that have deceased. My dad used to always say that it's one of the highest blessings to be born as a human being, because you're not just born in a physical body, but you're born in a body that has free will. You're born in a body that has intellect. You're born in a body that's not completely bound to its tendencies, to its basal animalistic tendencies. If you think about a rabbit or you think about a snake, they do what a snake does. They're not very individualistic like humans are. Human form itself, the physical form as a human itself, is very coveted by other energy forms, other souls, because this form allows you the maximum possibility of working out your karmas, working out. And when I talk about karmas, I don't talk in terms of karma being punitive, but I talk in terms of karma being the energy that needs to work itself out, the reverberations that need to work itself out, right? Like a tuning fork. If you hit the tuning fork against a metal, in the beginning, there is a strong sound, a strong reverberation, and then it dissipates through space. So that dissipation of that energy is karma. And our physical body allows the best potential for that energy to dissipate. So when we make these rice balls and offer it in a Shraddha, we allow those that are in the etheric realm, those that are formless, don't have a form or a body, to connect us through that physical form. Imagine, how long our solar system and our universe has existed. We can date it back to about like 4.5 billion years. and everything was in etheric gaseous form till everything became a physical matter. Energy became matter, and it took really long time. So having matter, which is this dense body, is important in the karmic cycle for energy or reverberations through space to dissipate, to work out their karmas, right? So when you read all these NDEs, you realize that's what these souls are doing. They incarnate as a group, or they incarnate in a lineage, and then they help that lineage to work its karmas out. In the process, each soul works its karmas out. And no matter how contentious that relationship is on earth, once you drop this body, you're not bound by that relationship. So it's easier for those in the etheric realm to help those in this physical body, right? And the karmas you work out now, especially in a dharmic or a spiritual way, the sages, the ancient sages say the ripple effects of of what you work out in this lifetime, it ripples through 7 generations before you and 7 generations that are yet to come. That's how powerful it is. So when you do a shraddha and you offer that pinda, you create a physical connection. You let that energy collapse, like in quantum physics. You let that energy collapse into matter, so that you can make a connection with it and they can influence change on this planet. You can't influence change on this planet without a physical body. That's the importance of doing this Shradha. When I was talking about Pitru Paksha with my mom, she was like, oh, we South Indians, really don't observe Pitru Paksha. And for a good reason, because, South Indians, there's some South Indians that will observe Pitru Paksha, but generally South Indians are more strict about, or more disciplined about performing Shraddha. Not all of them, of course, but yeah, most of them. Whereas anything north of the Deccan Plateau in India was heavily invaded. So it was very hard to even know when people died or what tithi they died. So it was harder to do Shraddham for them at a particular tithi or their real yearly tithi. So what they do is they set aside this fortnight where they perform Shraddha for all those who passed away, and all those whose death times and death dates are unknown for one reason or the other. Maybe they had a tragic death. Maybe they died at war. Things like that. You don't know. So if you don't know the death time, then this is the time period where you stop all other, manifestations of creative activity. And then you dive deep down into performing Shraddha and connecting with them so that they have a means to communicate with you too. Right. Many Indians during Pitru Paksha travel to Gaya. It's a place in Bihar in northern India. They say when you perform Shraddha at Gaya, the soul is liberated from the cycle of birth and death. And there is a tale associated with it. The tale is of Gayasur. He was a demon who had gotten a boon from Vishnu that anybody who looks at him will attain moksha or salvation, or will be liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Of course, you need a body to perform or to work out the karmas or the reverberations through the universe of these different souls. So in order to make that happen, Vishnu requested Gayasur for his body, and Gayasur readily offered his body. When he did that, his head fell off and just the body remained. And the one without the head and just the body is also Ketu, right? The south node of the moon. He's the headless being. So Gayasur laid in this place, and Vishnu stepped on Gayasur's body to make that the place where people need to go to attain moksha or liberation. The temple there is called Vishnupad because the imprint of Vishnu's feet on Gayasur's body is still present on earth. And it's right next to the river called Falgun. It sounds similar to Falguni. So, you know, the previous new moon that sets off this whole cycle generally happens in the nakshatra of either Magha, which is related to Pitris, Purva Falguni or Uttar Falguni. They're all in the sign of Leo. So the name Falgun for that river is also pretty appropriate. If you are wondering how do you make use of this time, you can do something really simple. If you have not had a closure with your loved one who has deceased, maybe you can practice forgiveness. Maybe you can practice gratitude. Maybe you can just leave some water out. Maybe you can write a letter. Maybe you can make their favorite meal or play their favorite music. Be creative with it, right? If you don't have a chance to do Pindadan around this time, you can make it your own. You can be creative in the way you connect to your ancestry, to your line. And, you know, the gratitude, the forgiveness, all that just follows. What is important is for you to do the act, right? As soon as you immerse yourself in the act, as soon as that intention within you arises, that I need to connect to my ancestry, everything else starts to follow. And why? Why do you even need to do that? Well, you know, imagine your face, imagine your nose. The nose that is sitting on your face right now is probably your great grandmother's nose. You owe it to your ancestry to preserve that genetic material so that you could incarnate, your soul could incarnate in a body and work out its karmas, right? You are probably the highest expression of your ancestry and their desires, their intelligence, the intelligence of their evolution, their karmas all reside in you, in the body you have incarnated, in your mitochondrial DNA, in your autosomal DNA, right? In your genetic material, it resides there and it's expressing through you so that you have this vessel, this body through which you can walk this planet. You cannot walk this planet without a body. And, you know, that's a very simple reason to even be in gratitude for them, regardless of how your relationship was with them on this planet. It is great. And if you can get closure, if there was any contention there, but if not, just be grateful that, you know, you have a body because those who came before you chose to incarnate and chose to take birth and provide you this opportunity to work out your karmas, to work out your desires, your ambitions, and what you want to do in this world. I hope this little video helps you refocus your energy through Pitru Paksha, where you remember your Pitris or your ancestors with love and help them connect to you with love. Notice if there is any animal, generally crows. In India, we generally say a raven or a crow is a symbol of them watching over you or them trying to find a body so that they can come and connect with you. But any animal, right? Um, and maybe not, but just being in gratitude to your ancestors is is the first step in you recognizing how important your life on earth is, even though it's just a blink in that entire universe. After this, we enter after Pitru Paksha and Mahalaya Amavasya. We enter 9 days or 9 nights of the goddess called Navratri. And those 9 nights is when we take all this energy that we have forged and built and the connections we have formed with those on the other side to manifest a life that serves all humanity. I also want to give a shout out to Casey Scott and Sam Jeppy. They made sure to make a big point about Pitru Paksha. I try and tend to be a little mellow about these things. And they also inspired me to make this video. So kudos to them. And if you get a chance, check out their videos too. Bye-bye.